G'day, welcome back to the channel. Just been doing a bit of flying in the backyard here, and you'll see more of that in an upcoming video. But I wanted to make a video because a lot of people have been emailing me over the situation in the UK, the Gatwick couple. The couple that got arrested by police and held for I think 48 hours in respect to the alleged drones at Gatwick. Quite honestly, I've had almost 100 emails from around the world in the last couple of days saying, have you seen this? Look, they got a £200,000 payout. Well, they didn't actually. There was a total of £200,000 paid out, but the couple involved only got £55,000. 3/4 of the settlement went to the lawyers. Yes, lawyers always win. As soon as you get courts and lawyers involved, the only winners are really the lawyers. But I guess, hey, 55,000 quid is probably better than nothing. But really, seriously, what a fiasco that was. And I think they said the total bill for that investigation by UK police was nearly £800,000, a huge amount of money. Unbelievable. What a stuff up. And there's still no evidence, no proof that there were actually any drones. Yeah, so the world goes from crazy to crazy. And that's just one example of it. And you notice one thing that's really important. Their arrest and, not imprisonment, but the fact that they were detained for 2 days, that was unlawful. And you might think, well, it was illegal. What's the difference between unlawful and illegal? Well, it's a bit of a grey area, but the way I tend to look at things is when the authorities, when people in power, when the people responsible for enforcing the rules break the law, it's unlawful. And there's no censure, no one goes to jail, nobody gets a fine, nobody gets their knuckles wrapped. It's just, we've learned from this and we'll move on. But when you or I or anybody else who isn't in power, who doesn't have this get out of jail free card, breaks the law, we do something that's deemed to be illegal. And then there are fines, there are prison terms, there are all sorts of censures applied to us because there are always two sets of rules. Those who make the rules don't have to follow the rules. And if they decide not to follow the rules, well, then they're just acting unlawfully and they can get away with it. It's not really good enough, is it? I despair when I see stuff like this, but it's the way of the modern world. I don't know, like the Royal Canadian Mounted Police fly a drone into a helicopter. And that's okay. No action will be taken. That's fine. We've learnt from this. We'll move on. If you or I did the same thing, well, we'd probably be in jail. We'd be in jail. And that would be, it'd be all over the newspapers and things. So, yeah, there's always double standards. Always double standards in these things. But, so that's the situation there. But what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually about to make a video, which I think is well overdue. And it speaks to the whole rules thing. I haven't heard anything from CAA in respect to my own case. I thought, I just have a fly in the backyard with no observer in the meantime. No observer, flying. I was flying FPV, no observer. Woo! I admit, I confess. So the whole thing is that we have this rules around the world, and as I say, no risk assessment has been done. Nobody has done a risk assessment to properly quantify, scope and analyse the risks involved. So that's why we have all this difference in opinion as to what represents a good rule set. In Canada, I can fly a 249-gram drone without any prescriptive regulations, anywhere I want, anytime I want, as long as I'm not endangering people or endangering their property. But in New Zealand, I can't even fly my little 28-gram Mobula 6 in my own backyard, FPV, without a spotter, because that's against the rules. It just doesn't make any sense. But as I say, I'm making a video. I'm going to analyse all the various rules from around the world, and I'm just going to prove how disparate they are. Because one thing that doesn't change in aviation is the laws of aerodynamics, the laws of physics. Those things are constant. There isn't more gravity in Peru or in America than there is in the UK. The air doesn't behave differently in Australia to the way it does in New Zealand. And quite honestly, we're all basically flying the same aircraft. We've got Cessnas, we've got Pipers, we've got Boeing, we've got Airbus. All these aircraft are the same. It doesn't matter what country you're dealing with. So if the aircraft are the same, if the laws of physics are the same, if aerodynamics is the same, why are the rules so very, very different? Well, it's simple. It's because nobody's done a risk assessment. They're all plucking stuff out of their backsides, which means there is no way we have equitable rules. The rules cannot be fair. If you don't know the scope, the nature, the scale of your risk, you can't produce fair and reasonable rules. And that just becomes so obvious when you compare the rules of one country against the rules of another. So I'm going to do that. I want to show the regulators around the world that they're doing a really poor job. And the fact now they want to roll out more rules and regulations, they want to roll out this remote ID and all this other stuff. Well, hang on a minute, you haven't even got the rules you've got at the moment. You haven't even sorted those out properly. So let's just go back to basics. And I'm going to produce a video which highlights the inequity of the current regulatory framework around the world. And I'm going to analyse the risks. I'm going to analyse the scope, the scale, the nature of the risks. I'm going to look at the historical data, I'm going to look at the science, and I'm going to come up with what I think is a set of rules that they should have come up with. And I'm going to challenge them to prove me wrong. And we'll see how we go. It's a pretty big video. I've been working on it for a little while, but the current situation with CIA has spurred me on to highlight the whole lunacy of the current regulatory framework in every country of the world. So see how we go on that one. Now, putting my RC Model Reviews hat on for a moment, people have said, where's the review of the Radio Master? Where's the Radio Master? And the Jumper T18 review, where is that? Well, Radio Master's here, it arrived. I wanted to do a comparison of that to the original Jumper T16 and the new Jumper T18. Unfortunately, the Jumper T18 is stuck in Singapore. Why is that? Well, when people say they want to send me stuff to RC Model Reviews, I say, please use DHL and please send it to my post office box. And there are good reasons for that, because DHL runs its own cargo flights, so it's not affected by this whole lockdown thing now. And DHL delivers to post office boxes in New Zealand, and which is great because, if, for example, a week ago I had 2 packages leave China at exactly the same time. One was addressed to my home address, one was addressed to my post office box. They were both sent by DHL. The one that was sent to my post office box arrived many days before the one that arrived at my home address, because that last mile is just an incredibly slow process. So the quickest way to get stuff to me is DHL to my post office box. Now, I tell this to everybody, but the Jumper people decided to use a different carrier. I don't know where they've addressed it to, but they're using a different carrier. And so it went to Singapore and it's stuck there because our borders are closed. This carrier obviously uses passenger flights to, puts in the cargo bay of the passenger flights, doesn't have its own flight network. So there are no passenger flights into New Zealand. Our borders are closed. So it's going to sit in Singapore for goodness knows how long. It's been 2 weeks already. I don't know how much longer. It may be there until Christmas. I don't know. It depends when the passenger flights start flying again. So I can't do my side-by-side shootout. I'm a bit disappointed with Jumper for cheaping out on the shipping. But it means I can't do that review. So I'm going to do the Radio Master review, but it's a bit late now. I wanted to get that first comparison, the deep dive comparison of all these 3 radios, but Jumper have tripped me up. So I'm not happy with Jumper, I have to say. But we'll look at the Radio Master, we'll look at the original Jumper, we'll do the comparison, see how things work out. To be honest, they're looking like they're all pretty similar radios. So you probably really want to know what one should I choose? Well, I can't say anything about the Jumper T18 because I don't have one. I did contact them quite some time ago now and they haven't even replied. So I don't know, Jumper, you're looking like a waste of space. You just don't get with the program. Come on, I'm trying to help you guys out by giving you the good reviews, and I don't know. Anyway, so if there's no response to a reviewer emailing them and saying, hey, what's going to happen if you buy one if you need support? I don't know. I'm not going to prejudge, but it is concerning. Anyway, so we got that. I've got the new Runcam 2 4K. The Runcam 2 form factor. Well, I've done a 4K one now, and the first one I got, unfortunately, was faulty. That happens from time to time. Wouldn't read too much into it. I've had a pretty good run with Runcam products. It was just had an intermittent glitch in the recording. I thought it was the wrong SD card. They thought it was the wrong SD card, so I went and got all the right SD cards, still exactly the same. And then I thought it was something to do with the effect of the DJI digital system on the Runcam 2 4K, because it seemed to happen in planes that had DJI digital, but it didn't seem to happen in analog. But that was just reviewer confusion. Eventually it started happening in the digital ones as well, so it doesn't seem to be linked to the type of FPV you're using. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you get broken stuff, and as you know, reviewers curse if it's going to be broken. I'm the guy that's going to get it, or not get it if you don't send it DHL. So there we go. Just an update on the situation. As I say, nothing from CIA. We're now moving into the 3rd week of this 1-week investigation, so I have a feeling they're really trying to find something to hang me with. They really are trying to find something to hang me with. But hey, they figure that's their job. Now, I'm sitting here, I can hear an aeroplane. I can't see it. I can hear it. How far away is it? Let's just wait and see. Now, I could have my goggles on. I didn't have a spotter before when I was flying, but I can hear an aeroplane. Oh, there it is. It's way the hell over there. It is at the moment probably, I don't know what it would be. It would be easily 1.5 kilometres, 2 kilometres away. I can hear it. I can hear it. If I was flying, no threat to that aeroplane. I can hear it long before I see it. It's one of the things I'm going to raise in this video I'm doing about how stupid the regulations are. Anyway, as I say, I'll get onto that. Hopefully be up before the end of the week. And the weather here is dull and grey and horrible. It is awful. I mean, I would be reviewing that RunCam camera right now, but I've already got some grey day footage. I want some sunny day footage because, as we know, the lighting makes a huge difference to the performance of some of these cameras. And just a quick heads up, I did notice with the RunCam 4K, the wide dynamic range isn't as wide as I'd like it to be. So on a day like this with a really bright sky, backlit cloud, it tends to dark out a bit on the ground. But we'll see. I'll put the video up, you'll be able to see that. So yeah, just keeping you up to date with things going on. Now I'm going to go back inside. I've had my flight for the day, and I'm going to start editing up some of the videos I got on the drive there, and hopefully get some more stuff out to you pretty shortly. I've done the HGL-RC Sector 1, 2, 3, which is a 3-inch quad with the DJI, or the Vista digital system in it. So that's going to come up very shortly. That was quite interesting, and there's some more work to be done on that. But you have a look at that. Anyway, that's on RC Model Reviews. This is XJet. Thank you for your support. Thank you to my Patreons. Make it possible for me to carry on doing all this stuff at a time when YouTube has just really jumped the shark. So thanks, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.